Hello, BookTube. I've got some mail for you today on a mild, overcast Thursday. The days and days of nonstop rain that were forecast by everybody and that looked present in the radar disappeared completely. So we have clear skies. There is now in the long range radar apps, there is now a threat that all of next week will be days after day of rain. It's just one day after another of rain. I'd be a fool to believe that. It's not going to rain again in Boston at all. so it was a fine day for walking. The Bean and I had some wonderful, wonderful encounters. People, she takes a little bit of getting used to, but in a good way. Because when she sees you, if she sees that you're near her and you're not walking in some other direction and you're doing something, if you're fiddling in your garden, if you're watering plants on your front porch, 5 steps up from the sidewalk, if you're taking in groceries or whatnot, she just zeroes right up. She doesn't wait. She just zeroes right up, throws back her head, and screams a long yodel note for you to stop whatever you're doing and pay attention to her. Come and fuss over her. And people, it's obnoxious, but people seem to like it. So we've had wonderful, wonderful, wonderful overcast dog walks. But let's see what we have here. And I'm once again going to shoot for May finished copies, even though that did me no good yesterday. I got June copies up the wazoo yesterday. But we'll try again and see what we have this time around. So what's this next one? Okay, good. Right out of the gate, we have a May finished copy of the book we've already seen. This is by Lloyd Llewellyn Jones, and it is the Cleopatras, the Forgotten Queens of Egypt. Behind the legendary singular figure of Cleopatra stood 6 other women who bore her name. The infamous Cleopatra, we think we know, was actually the 7th queen in a long line of powerful female rulers whose stories have been lost to history. The 7 queens named Cleopatra ruled from 192 to 30 BCE. That's before Common Era. What distinguishes the Common Era? Birth of Christianity. It's the C. So you could abbreviate that to say BC. But no, that would mean you're a fundamentalist Christian, because we live in an insane world. Defied the stereotypes of the nameless, faceless women of antiquity and instead challenged the patriarchal norms of their time, legitimizing female power on the world stage. Okay, so exploring a part of Hellenistic world often neglected by historians, the author of this book brings to life the complicated, tempestuous stories of the 7 queens marrying the same man, sending armies into war, and plotting to overthrow their kings for sole rulership. While each Queen Cleopatra encountered a unique set of challenges and ruled with her own set of strengths, each generation influenced the next, culminating in a powerful dynastic line that ultimately transformed the imperial politics of their house into global politics. Okay, well, there's another bulleted list of things the author is prepared to discuss in an interview. Okay, that's great. It's good to know. The author's setting limits. So this comes out in late May. That's great. I have the advanced copy. I haven't got to it, and I really should. So we'll do that. That's exactly what I want. Let's move on to this next one here. Oh, right. Okay, great. This comes out in September. I heard about this from the publicist, and I very much wanted it. This is a novel that comes out in September. The author is Deva Regi, and it's called Quarterlife. Very intriguing looking cover. The folks at Liverite, they never let me down. Almost never. This is a debut novel, and it presents a compelling narrative that delves into the inner workings of the characters, capturing the essence of their hopes, fears, and contradictions. Right. But it's a novel, so I would hope that it would do that. Let's see if we can maybe find what this is about. Set against the backdrop of Mumbai in 2014, this book follows the lives of 3 protagonists, Naren, Rohit, and Amanda, as they navigate a rapidly changing world filled with political upheaval, personal challenges, and societal expectations. And a weird made-up name, since it's Bombay that they're talking about. From Naren's return to India from America in the wake of a divisive election, to Amanda's quest for purpose in a foreign land, each character embarks on a journey of self-discovery that is as tumultuous as it is illuminating. And at the heart of the book lies a profound exploration of identity, belonging, and the search for authenticity. Okay, well, this is the author's debut novel. So that's fantastic. I'm totally up for debut novels. This sounds really, really good. It doesn't come out until September, so I won't be digging into it, I don't think, between now and when I get. I'm presuming it will be a finished. There will be a finished copy. Yeah, this is going to be a $30 hardcover, so I probably won't get to it until then. But I'm glad to throw it on the pile there for September. Let's see what this next one is here. Okay. Okay, great. This is from the folks at the Mysterious Press. Wonderful. What we call this? This is August. This is a late August release. It's by Nicholas Meyer, and it is Sherlock Holmes and the Telegram from Hell. And Nicholas Meyer, of course, will be known to you. He's actually written a small shelf full of Sherlock Holmes pastiche novels, but he'll also be known to you as a director, and only a director. Of course, you won't know him for any other reason. Although I can confer that it's possible, rumor has it, that when he was an undergraduate, he was a super hottie. Let's see here. Sherlock and Watson crossed the Atlantic in pursuit of a mysterious coded telegram in this new pastiche from the author of The Return of the Pharaoh, which I believe I reviewed. I think I reviewed Return of the Pharaoh. The date is June 1916, so a long way from Victorian England. And with a world war raging on the continent, exhausted John Watson, M.D., is operating on the wounded full-time when his labors are interrupted by a knock on his door, revealing Sherlock Holmes with a black eye, a missing tooth, and a cracked rib. The story he has to tell will set in motion a series of world-changing events in the most consequential case of the detective's career. Amid rebellion in Ireland and revolution in Russia, Germany has a secret plan to win the war, and Sir William Melville of the British Secret Service dispatches the two aging friends to learn what the scheme is before it can be put into effect. In pursuit of a coded telegram sent from Berlin to an unknown recipient in Mexico, Holmes and Watson must cross the Atlantic, dodge German U-boats and assassination attempts, and evade the intrigues of a young J. Edgar Hoover, while enlisting the help of a beautiful, eccentric Washington socialite as they seek to foil the schemes of Holmes' nemesis, the escaped German spy master von Bork. Okay, all right, well, great, fantastic. This doesn't come out for a while. This doesn't come out until late August, so I'm totally on board for it. But and it won't take more than an hour to read. But I don't know that I'll get to it between now and then, at least until high summer. Of course, Nicholas Meyer will be known to you mostly as a movie director, including a Star Trek director, the best Star Trek director of them all. But anyway, let's move on here. Let's keep going. What is this next one? My, what a cover. Let's see what we have here. Okay, this comes out in July. This is by Laura Katz Olson, and it is called Wrinkled Rebels. How's that for a cover? Good Lord. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, late July. Given the current student protests on college campuses, this book is a timely story about 3 male and 3 female college friends who, together, had been active in the civil rights movement and the anti-Vietnam protests of the 1960s and 70s. After going their separate ways, decades later, at age 80, they receive an invitation to meet for a 3-day weekend. Wrestling with whether to attend, each of them has a divergent qualm and expectation for the proposed gathering. During their 3 days together, they confront their inner demons, each other, and their future. Does Rebecca, the prime mover of the event, find solace after losing her wife and career? Can Malika regain her sense of self after stepping down from her successful civil rights law practice? Mourning the loss of her youthful athletic prowess and attractiveness, what happens when Deanna faces her old friends? Struggling with 2 divorces and a failing marriage, can Russell attain peace of mind? How will Max, an expat living in Canada, manage his incipient dementia? Will the demoralized Keith recover his idealism? Oh, there's just going to be... We're getting the band back together, and we'll find out, what they're made of at the moment. Interesting. Okay. Very interesting. This is a letter from the author. Oh, how interesting. The author is currently a professor of political science at Lehigh University. Pretty impressive in its own right. All right, fantastic. So this comes out in late July. It looks like this is a finished copy. Yeah, this is a finished copy. This is, so is this there's no information on the sheet here, but I assume this is going to come out as a paperback original. Great. Fantastic. Who knows what shape those protests will take between now and then. And then the last package, and then we'll be done. Ooh, okay, all right. Last package has 3 books in it, so that's good. Always up for more books. Let's see what this first one is. Do any of them have sheets in them? No, they don't. All right. Okay, this is by John Preston in collaboration with Elton John. And this is Watford Forever. How Graham Taylor, Elton John saved a football club, a town, and each other. So perfect for the summer of sport. This comes out in August. That's the cover. If Elton John ever wore a shirt like that, I'm the Tsar of all the Russias. How interesting. A lot of you in the UK probably know this story. Nothing has brought English soccer more immediately into the American mainstream than Ted Lasso, which captivated the nation in 34 episodes over 3 seasons. But before there was Jason Sudeikis' lovable and at first hapless AFC Richmond, there was Watford Football Club, a team from the outskirts of London with barely enough fans to fill its stands, and which, in the mid-1970s, was languishing in 92nd place at the bottom of the last division of the English Football League. That is, until rock superstar Elton John, who with his dad had followed the team as a boy, bought the lowly franchise and, with legendary manager Graham Taylor, transformed the luckless football club into a top-seeded Premier League team. Inspiring, funny, and ultimately heartbreaking, Watford Forever recalls the improbably tender relationship between Elton John and Taylor, a straight-talking former fullback who together beat the odds, I'm sure, and their personal demons to save a club and a struggling community. Okay. John Preston was the Sunday Telegraph's television critic, and it's one of its chief feature writers for 10 years. And Elton John needs no introduction, so okay. Fantastic. Well, I'd kind of like Joe Spivey to review this. I don't really want to review it myself. It seems like a wasted opportunity to have somebody who doesn't follow soccer and who's no personal reminiscence of any of these teams. It seems like a bit of a waste to have me do it. Okay, then this next one is from Liverite. That's great. This comes out in October. Again, no sheet. This is a working translation. This is by Christian Cracked, translated by Daniel Bowles, and this is Eurotrash. How's that for a cover? Look at that for a cover. So we once again don't have a sheet. We'll just, this comes out a good deal of time from now. This comes out in October. From the great German language writer of his generation, according to Joshua Cohen, comes the second novel of Crack's career narrated by an eponymous Christian. The first, that might be local Utes you can hear screaming in the background. The first was his best-selling 1995 debut, Phaserland. Yeah. They get out of school and simply scream at the top of their lungs until they get on their bus. And I can't really blame them. This school is awful. Eurotrash begins in Zurich, where Christian has arrived to care for his 80-year-old mother after her discharge from a mental institution. Reckoning with his family's dark history, his long-dead grandfather was intimately associated with and unapologetically supportive of the Nazis. So that's family's dark history, or the family's present if you're in America. And struggling to navigate the emotionally wrenching terrain of his relationship with his mother, Christian sets off on a road trip with her. That's not going to be a good idea. As they traverse Switzerland in a hired cab, mother and son attempt to give away her vast fortune, which they're carrying in a large plastic bag, to random strangers. If you're traveling by cab across Europe with a bag of money, you're not going to have much trouble getting rid of it. It's going to be taken from you, in fact. By turns disturbing, disorienting, and hilarious, the poignant Eurotrash tells an intensely personal, an unsparingly critical story of contemporary culture. A story that shows us a writer at the pinnacle of his powers of insight and observation. Okay, so I clearly need Phaserland. I clearly need the other book, right? I mean, I don't need to read everything else by this author, but this is the second novel. It sounds like, I mean, Christian Cracked. It says it's a novel, but it's not. It's a memoir. And it says it follows his adventures. The character is Christian. The character is the author. So Surely I need the first book. I'll have to see if Liverite can maybe disgorge a copy. That would be nice. And then what's the last one? Oh no, the last one is a double. We have a double of Quarterlife. I'm really hoping that the title does not refer to Quarterlife Crisis, that ridiculous book from 20 years ago. There's no such thing as a Quarterlife Crisis. We'll see. So this is a double. That's that. Okay, so we have 2 of these. All right, so that is the mail. Very interesting collection here. All sorts of different odds and ends. This reminds me, I love my job. So we have Quarterlife, 2 copies of this. This comes out when? September. I don't know. It's a debut novel set in India. I'll probably review it myself. Otherwise, I would recommend that one of you take the double and review it for Open Letters. But I don't think this is fair game. I think I'm going to do it myself. Then Eurotrash. We have Watford Forever, a soccer book. I believe the second-rate countries call it football. We have our own football here in the United States. Then we have Wrinkled Rebels. Sounds like it'll be a little bit light on page-turning action, but that won't really matter. Then Sherlock Holmes and the Telegram from Hell by Nicholas Meyer. The Nicholas Meyer, the author, not only the director of some of the Star Trek movies that are the best, but also the author of the 7% Solution, which is widely regarded as a great Sherlock Holmes pastiche novel. And then finally, the finished copy of Cleopatras, the history of all the other women who were called Cleopatra. Actually makes me curious to know, I haven't looked here, if there's a chapter given over to the famous Cleopatra. Let's see, is there one? Well, yeah, I mean, we have 18 chapters, and chapter 15 is the magic flute. That will be the flute player. So that gets us awful close to oh God. The chapter titles: Bridal Showers, Third Time Lucky, Death Becomes Her, Death on the Nile. I guess you gotta draw in the audience somehow. I'm pretty sure that the famous Cleopatra probably rounds out the story here. But we have debut fiction, translated fiction, sports writing for the summer of sport, history, fantastic, and Sherlock Holmes pastiche novel. I'm not complaining at all. So that is the mail for today. We'll wrap this up. Now that the local Utes have got on the bus and stopped screaming, we'll wrap this up and resume tomorrow. Thank you, BookTube.